live on Facebook and we're live on YouTube. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Rebels Revisited.
Happy Monday, everyone.
Happy Monday.
Apparently there's a football game happening.
Small one.
We are in the hunt for a Mandalorian trailer. We'll be on the lookout for that. And we've got a watch along of our own with a Rebels episode. And we're going to talk some Bad Batch. And we're going to talk The Last of Us. I got a packed show for you guys tonight.
So much cool stuff happening. And
That's
we're right in the middle of it. How often do we
Yeah.
get to do this? Like, great.
This really worked out. Spencer was messaging us, and he was talking about the trailer dropping during the football game. And I don't know from football. It's like not my area of expertise. I don't really watch. I don't know the teams. And apparently everyone on the planet is watching but me. But like he was saying that the trailer is going to drop. And I was like, oh, we're going to be on air when that happens. And it seems like there's a very high probability that we'll be live on the internet, along with millions of others, as the trailer comes out. So I think our plan will be to, if we're in the middle of the watch along, we will literally hit pause, watch the trailer, react to it, and go back to the episode. Is that fair for everyone? Is that good? I see Sarah and Jeff and Jennifer.
Hi, guys.
Are you guys okay if we do a little Mando mini break in the middle of our Rebels episode?
And just so you guys know, if you want to check out Spencer's live tweeting, it's let me hold on one second. Let me just make sure I got this.
Yeah, he's on Twitter right now.
Yeah.
He is
at Cantina Virtual.
Yes.
So make sure you find him and watch the live tweets if you're on Twitter.
Yeah, and if you are on Twitter still, and I am, unfortunately, I have not been able to really fully migrate to Hive, though you will see our Hive logo up there in the corner.
Same.
Ish, something like that. On Twitter,
and there.
If you are still on Twitter, follow Virtual Cantina at Cantina Virtual. They're a good account, and it really is just like all the news that's happening across the channel.
Oh yeah, and if you're there, you can see what's going on with Bunta, live updates for that. What's going on with Celebration? Definitely keep you in the know on there.
I think that's what we're going to use as well for like the news desk in the lead up to Celebration, which we are Team America, as we've discussed. So me and Jeff, who is off camera, but you can hear him in the background,
and Dave.
Ashley, and Dave. Don't want to leave out Dave. Is Dave in right now? I don't know if he's watching along, but I'm assuming he's watching the football. So the four of us will be anchoring the American experience of Celebration.
Yeah, so if you guys get Mark Hamill there, we're going to be so jealous.
Leo, yes, there's a new Mandalorian season 3 trailer is dropping during tonight's football game. Does anyone know who is playing in said football game?
It's the Cowboys and the Bucks.
What are those cities?
Dallas and Tampa Bay.
Gotcha. And what do we know what channel it's on? Is it ABC, NBC?
It is on ESPN. So
ESPN.
Make sure,
all right.
Make sure
great.
You get
I came
on
very prepared for this.
Wholly owned subsidiary.
You have me. Yeah.
Wait, say that again, Jeff.
I said a wholly owned subsidiary of Disney.
Of Disney, of course it is. How did I even think of that? I remember the bundle. The bundle was Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN, which I believe I was part of the founder circle. I'm so fancy. For the $3 a month for the first 3 years. Oh my god, it was amazing. And so you got all those ESPN channels, and I don't think Jason and I turned on one of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, someone was saying like WandaVision premiered 2 years ago or whatever it was.
It was 2 years ago.
I was like, that's crazy. It was last month. Like that doesn't make any kind of sense.
We're in this weird time loop since COVID happened, where like time is a construct. Like,
age ain't nothing but a number. Time even less so. All right, Skip is saying there's 8 minutes and 28 seconds left to go in the quarter.
Yep, now it's 7:55, so we're getting there.
But we all know the last 2 minutes could take 15 minutes because the ball stops. Like the time runs unless there's like an out of bounds play or something. For the most part, the clock ticks down, is my understanding. But like it stops, especially every time a play ends in the last 2 minutes of the quarter. So I think we're more like 20 minutes out from the actual trailer, right? Like, okay. Yeah. So I think we might start the episode and do a little break to watch the trailer, if that works for everyone. We have a lot of people in the chat tonight. Let's say hello to everyone.
This is beautiful. Sherry and Sarah and Skip and Leonardo and Catherine and Jennifer and Jeff and Spencer. Yeah.
Spencer, get back to tweeting. So
chop, Spencer.
I'm bored with the game already.
Yeah. Like I said, you could have lied to me about what teams and where they're playing and what channels on. I would not know. So
Tom Brady versus I don't know 50 other guys.
Yeah. Well, that's why I thought New England. I was like, Tom Brady. Where are the Patriots?
Oh, we're not even anywhere near there. Yeah,
but
it was a rough year for the boys.
No, I know.
But also not a Brady team anymore.
Yeah,
that's the thing. See, that's what I mean. Like that's my football knowledge starts and stops with the fact that we're still in the season. I know the Super Bowl is happening in a few weeks because there will inevitably be numerous football Super Bowl parties happening, and I will end up going to the one where they care the least about the football. Like that's really the
superb owl party.
There you go.
Superb owl.
Superb owl. The big game. So having worked in various major CPG companies, unless you had a tie-in where you were an actual sponsor, you have to say big game. So Nabisco is never really a sponsor. Like I think they've done some things or they advertised during, but like all of their collateral was big game, unless it was the specific brand that was like it's heavily integrated.
Right.
But yeah, so big game. So yeah, I'm
Sarah, them fighting words. No, it
yeah. Oh, this is where we're gonna start the fights now. No, don't tell us your favorite Star Wars movie. Tell us your least favorite football team. I gotta tell you, as a New Yorker, I don't have skin in this game. But if you're from Philly, I don't like you. So like Philadelphia, the Eagles, they suck.
Yeah.
So Philadelphia
Steve,
also has a
the
baseball
Niners
team.
are my
They
West
suck
Coast
too.
team.
So
yeah, the 49ers are my West Coast team. My cousin Eric is a huge San Francisco fan, so we grew up with him being obsessed with Joe Montana and Jerry Rice and a lot of them. So that is the only reason why they are my West Coast team. Yeah, I grew up playing football, watching football. Yeah, which is totally. Oh, Ant-Man trailer. Hey, sorry, distracted.
We've got to talk about
guys,
that too.
Ant-Man and the Wasp tickets are now on sale. Go buy them because this movie is going to be huge, and it's Paul Rudd. Yeah.
That's going to be amazing.
I really want to see it in 3D. Like, look at this. This is like gorgeous.
Sarah, I was going to mention that. So Sarah and I we're having like last week we were geeking out over Doctor Who. I remember in college I had fraternity brothers who owned Packers stock because they're the only publicly traded team, and so that was always interesting to me because like individual people could like participate in the franchise, right?
Yeah.
I went to school in Pittsburgh, which of course like bleeds black and yellow. Like if you're a Penguins fan or you're a Steelers fan, and I was actually in the 4 years I was in college. I don't like.
Don't ask me my thoughts about the Steelers.
Big Ben is a problem. The franchise is a problem. But like living in the city, like everyone loved them. And when I was in college, which was 99 to 03, they were in the Super Bowl one of those years. I want to say it was 01 or 02. I don't remember. But somehow like during the 4 years I spent in Pittsburgh, one of those years they made it to the Super Bowl. I think they won. I don't remember. But like the city really cared. I sure didn't. But that was a big football town. And they also hated Philly. So at the very least, I was like, okay, well, being a New Yorker, we hate all things Philadelphia and Pittsburgh hates all things Philadelphia. So I was like, oh, you get a little bit of kinship there, It's fine by
works.
Me. Yeah. Oh, and if you're in Cleveland, Cleveland and Pittsburgh also had a rivalry. Yeah. All right. Well, I feel like that's enough. This is more sports than I expected to be talking about.
I know. Holy crap.
So, but while this is happening, we are keeping an eye on the game to make sure we bring you the breaking Mando news. Other things going on in the pop culture that we wanted to cover. Bad Batch happened last week.
So good.
Take it away, because I loved it too, but I want to get your thoughts. And by the way, we didn't talk ahead of time. I actually go out of my way to not talk to Ashley about this stuff so we can get genuine reactions on the show. Even in the Google Doc, sometimes I'll keep my like opinions to myself just about like, here's the topic, but we want to bring it to you organically. So, but I think we're going to be aligned on this one.
Oh, totally. And which makes me really happy because I know how you felt about season 1. Things have been awful quiet. We've been wondering what Commander Cody has been up to. We haven't really seen him since Utapau. So who do we see in this episode but Commander Cody? And he's paired up with our boy Crosshair on a mission. And apparently Crosshair was stuck on that platform for 31 cycles.
Crazy.
Like, how do you not starve to death? Like, really? They don't care about you.
He had
And it's
water.
just
huge resentment.
oh, so like what are you doing?
Yeah.
But it's also like they go on a mission. They have to, you know, help this governor of this new installed planet, Desix, and try to take over because they've kidnapped him and their governor is holding him hostage. And it's all these battle droids versus Cody, Crosshair, and their squad trying to. It was just insane.
Battle droids.
And Cody has a change of heart. So not only are you rooting for battle droids and tactical droids and droidicas, it's it's like a complete mind flip of everything that you've known in Star Wars and the Clone Wars up until this point. Like you're rooting for these droids.
It's the cognitive dissonance. I talk about it all the
totally
time in
is.
Star Wars. It
Totally
fucks with
is.
you. Yep.
And it was just so cool to see. Okay, you have Crosshair doing what he does best, crazy trick shots to take out
He
the
was great.
tactical droids.
Best part of the
Fantastic.
episode.
But you know, Cody has a change of heart and defects. So where's he going? Are we gonna see him again?
At the very end of the episode, when the guy's like, "Oh, there's people who like get near you, Crosshair. They all seem to leave," and I was like, "Yeah, he's vicious poison. He's like he's the living embodiment of your disgusting fascism." And everyone's like, "Oh, I don't want to be that." He's such a good villain. That and by the way, I'm glad that we have like I'm calling it justice for Cody.
Yes,
it's like we know Cody was a good guy. And we know a lot of clones acted against their will. And now that they have time to evaluate what happened, many of them are going to flee or think about what happened. And not necessarily what they did was wrong, but what they were forced to do was wrong. And now they have to decide for themselves. They do have agency now. Like, what do you do with that agency? And that's sort of the question that the Bad Batch is asking every week. And it's what Cody asked himself and flew. He fled. Like he went AWOL. Which I'm glad we didn't see it because when it's revealed.
Yeah, that's a really neat way. I don't know if he had it in previous episodes of Clone Wars and obviously in the movies, but he's got like a scar in the shape of a C on his forehead. So it's like it's kind of like the Scarlet Letter, I guess.
Yeah.
Like this is what you did. So it'll
I'm
be
excited
interesting
to see where he goes next. Who do you partner with? Who do you team up with? Does he meet Rex? And because he's not in Rebels, like he wasn't part of Rex's crew in Rebels, which you can see there's, by the way, there's Captain Rex right above me. He's got, funny enough, this episode is very Clone Wars heavy and deals with battle droids. Matthew Wood's a prominent voice in it. Rex is a huge part of this episode. And whenever I see Rex, I always think of Cody, because Cody's who we really met like in episode 3, right? He's like the clone, other than Jango or Boba. And then in the Clone Wars, it became Rex. But Cody was probably the first real clone with a name and a personality that people would have seen.
And he was close to Obi-Wan.
Yeah, he was Obi's guy. And will he? I remember there were rumors that he was going to be in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, and I don't know why that didn't happen. If they couldn't get Tamora, or if they weren't going to use Tamora and remove someone, I don't know. Maybe it would have been confusing.
They had this in the pipeline, so they wanted this to make it more of an impact. So, and it did. Oh my God, it so did.
I thought it was very impactful. And I thought Crosshair is just a standout villain. And I want him to remain that way. I actually hope he, even despite the fact that he didn't get picked up for 30 days, which is very Callus, right? Like, Callus was left behind and defects.
And that's the difference between him and Callus. Callus would be like, screw these guys, I'm out of here. But Crosshair, there's got to be something so malicious in him for him to go through that and have his brothers and Omega save him and still decide to do that with your life. It's just, what is wrong with your programming? Are you hardwired for this, or just
he could be taking the that very Vulcan kind of like, well, the odds of many outweigh the odds of the one, and that's sort of his idea with the Empire, is like, we're bringing not peace to the galaxy, it's order to the galaxy. That's enough of a difference to take it from like a good place to a really dark place, right? Order to the galaxy. And so, but he believes in the order of the galaxy. And so because of that, they couldn't be worried about him. It was like, he served his purpose. And if they were able to go back and get him at a later time, they would. But that speaks to just the way they're disconnected from the individual people involved. Like, you can't treat people as transactional and disposable. And think that you're the good guys. That can't be true.
And I'm sitting there doing the math and I'm like, he had to drink the water on Camino, and like,
Yeah.
how did he survive for that period of time? But
Yeah, well, there must have been some ships around, or it must have been something, right?
yeah.
I actually don't care too much about like how he made it, but it is concerning that it's a large amount of time, and more concerning that he showed he was not concerned. He could have gone AWOL very easily because he
Oh,
would have been
totally.
presumed dead.
Because they
Like
thought
this would have
he was
been,
dead. Yeah.
yeah, that would have been really easy. Yeah, I thought it was a very solid follow up to the premiere. I actually thought it was better than the premiere. And I enjoyed spending time with Cody. I enjoyed spending time with Crosshair in particular. And I loved the governor woman who name drops Mina Bantari. And I was like,
Yeah.
yes, take us to Onderon, take us back to church, tell us about the separatists who were doing the right thing, who didn't want to be a part of this nonsense. And now look where we are. We're rooting for you guys, like, because we fucked it up the first time. So it's like, yeah. And then of course she died, like, obviously, because this show is bleak, 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 bleak.
And Crosshair was the one to pull the trigger. And it goes back to the good soldiers follow orders. And Cody didn't follow orders.
Nope.
And Crosshair did. So that's
And
why when he goes to see Admiral Rampart and he gives him a new thing, he goes, "What happened to Commander Cody?" And he's like, "Who?" And he's like, "Oh, he went
CC,
AWOL."
whatever. 2224 is Cody. Yeah.
So it was just like, oh shit. And then he's like, everybody seems to defect around you. It's like, yeah, because you're the antithesis of everything that's good in the world.
So this is the question for like the unifying force guys, the difference between a good soldier and a good person, or to make it a little more granular, a good citizen. Good soldier versus good citizen, right? Good soldiers follow orders, execute the plan, don't question authority. Good citizens do like quite the opposite. Ahsoka actually teaches a whole class on this on Mandalore in the Clone Wars, right? Good citizens challenge their leaders, keep them accountable, prevent corruption. Good soldiers enable a lot of that if you're on the wrong side and you don't know it, right? Like because good soldiers follow orders and they don't challenge up the command, right? So yeah, I think that would be an interesting topic for Dave and everyone to tackle. Good citizen versus good soldier, because Crosshair is a great soldier. Cody could go on to be a very good citizen, knowing what he knows, and having been around. A lot of these clones could integrate into society and actually really make, I think, a really positive, impactful change, and maybe even help in the rebellion in a big way. They've got a lot of fighting skills. They know how to fly ships. They know how to pilot all sorts of different vehicles. I know they age really rapidly, and that's going to be a thing. But and I know we only see Gregor and Wolf and Rex, but like there must be others elsewhere, just not in our immediate circle.
Right, exactly. You have Cut with his family. You have what's his name? Starts with an H. He's in the first season of the Bad Batch. Oh my god, I'm blanking.
Yeah, I can't keep. Not Hunter.
No. It's the other guy with the green and the teal and white armor. I'm trying to think of his name. Starts with an H. It's a weapon. It's a gun. I'd
have to look them up. There are too many clones. And it's hard to like keep track of. Yeah. You know what we should do? We should get into the episode, start talking about the episode of Rebels, and then do we have a countdown on the game? Like where we are in terms of time?
We're about 3 minutes in. Towards the end of the period.
So another 15 minutes probably.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's do that. Let's start up the Disney Plus and get rolling into season 3. So everyone cue up your Disney Plus. And again, like I said, we are not going to prevent you from watching the Mandalorian trailer. We are going to break for the trailer. But let's jump into the episode and we could hit pause when we're getting close. So we're in season 3, episode 6, The Last Battle. Do you want to give us a count? Why can't I find Star Wars Rebels in here?
Because they hid it from you.
They really did.
Goodness. Where's my Disney Plus? Oh, there it is. It started. Okay. I have it on my phone so I can check out the game.
What's the score right now?
It's in commercial. So we have a lovely Kia Sportage commercial going on right now.
Catherine just said 2-minute warning.
Yep.
Yeah.
So depending on the score, it could go quickly or not. I don't know.
I think it's going to go another 10 minutes at least, because the 2-minute warning is always
the end of the game. It's always long for
the end of the game is longer. Halftime, not so much.
Quicker. 12-0. So yeah, I think that those 2 minutes could go relatively quickly, but
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Do we want to wait then? Let's talk about let's talk about The Last of Us. Because I know we wanted to get into that, and we can talk a little bit about Ant-Man, and then we'll watch a trailer, and then we'll do the episode. Is that good for everyone?
That
means we
works.
may go a little bit long, but like, have we ever ended on time, guys? You know what it's like with the
Captain
the Mark
Hauser.
Mansfield
That's
show.
his name.
Yeah, Hauser. Oh, meanwhile, I just watched.
I knew it was a gun.
It's
or weapon.
Doogie Howser, right? And I just watched Starship Troopers the other night with Neil Patrick Harris. So
love him. Love him.
My screen got dark. What happened here?
My love for Barney Stinson is huge. I love How I Met Your Mother. So
this show's fantastic. Let's get into the other big pop culture news, I would say, of the week. And I think the thing that's going to dominate
2-minute warning,
culture news cycle for the next several weeks. The Last of Us just premiered on HBO Max last night. We are not going to talk spoilers, but I do want to talk about the game a little bit and the setup of the show. The big reason is that Pedro Pascal is in it. And obviously he's our Mandalorian. So you're familiar with the game. Or the graphic novel, you said the prequel graphic novel, but I wasn't familiar with any of the details of The Last of Us. Even leading up to it, I didn't know like what to expect. I was like, what's this about? It's another Walking Dead is what I was told, and I was kind of like not that excited about it. But then like I like Pedro, and last night it was getting a lot of buzz beforehand. I was like, all right, let me check it out. I tuned in. I was floored. It was an hour and a half, a double episode premiere. I thought the writing was spectacular. The special effects look great. The story is really, it's bleak, like a lot of things that we've been seeing, but really well done. Pedro is great. And the rest of the cast.
Pedro and kids.
Yeah, he's great acting with kids.
He's our daddy. Like,
he really
to quote
is.
him, he's the daddy.
Yeah, he delivered.
He does such a great job. And we have if you love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., like I love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Gabriel Luna plays his brother, Tommy.
Oh, that's right.
He was Robbie Reyes and Ghost Rider in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Phenomenal job. Wish we had gotten our spinoff from that. But I'm glad he's on this. So, but yeah, it was a really, really solid start to the season. And I honestly can't wait to see where it goes from here. Hello.
Yeah, I did enough of my enough like research into what the game is like. A couple of different setups, and this is not a spoiler, but the video game takes place in the year 2013 as the starting point, and then their flash forward is to 2033, so they go 20 years into the future. The TV show changes it so that 2003 is the triggering event, and the flash forward brings you to 2023, so you're in present day. And I thought that was interesting because then we don't have to contend with like what the world would have been like in the year 2033 or whatever. And you can almost hold to like the way things were in 2003. And most importantly, it allows us to not have smartphones. Like we can have cell phones, but not smartphones, because the first iPhone came out in 2008. And someone pointed out that alone is enough of a time generation, like to remove our most like ubiquitous, most powerful technology that's like always at our fingertips. Yeah, like, and I was like, oh, that's so smart, because like we would have maxed out our at least consumer electronics and consumer technology in 2003, which would have been shitty Nokia like flip phones basically. So
I had my brick.
Yeah, we all did, right? Like how you had a text with the numbers, you know. So I think
advertising
they're giving us the commercial for the trailer.
No, it's the setup for the trailer on the commercial. Yeah, so we got 1 minute 54 seconds left in the game, or the half.
Spencer just retweeted a little while ago. Star Wars Twitter tonight. How many quarters are in a football game? It's me.
It's me.
But yeah, so I loved Last of Us. What did you think of the show?
I honestly love it. Like I said, I know the bare minimum because I am a huge Faith Erin Hicks fan. Look at her up. She's a phenomenal comic book artist. She's done a lot of indie stuff. She's done Avatar: The Last Airbender, and she also did a prequel comic for The Last of Us, which is Ellie and the Fireflies. I won't go into too much detail, but before she meets Joel and how she gets involved with them and how she ends up where she is.
Joel is Pedro Pascal.
Pedro Pascal, yes. So Ellie is played by Bella Ramsey, who is Lyanna Mormont from Game of Thrones, the little badass.
Another Game of Throneser. Yeah.
So they weren't in the same season, but they have the show in their blood. So they can do drama so well, and I'm really excited to see it.
One of the things it's going to get compared to Walking Dead without a doubt. And I
already.
Yeah. I mean, it's a similar premise, right? So, we have a lot of zombie shows, and this one's very serious. It's taking itself very seriously the way The Walking Dead did. And I still say, like, The Walking Dead season 1 is some of the best television you'll ever watch.
Oh, easily.
It's over 10 years old at this point. But I think it holds up. And I think it also helped spawn a lot of the fandom movement that we've seen in the last 10 years. Like,
totally.
Walking Dead was,
and
like,
it is the reason why The Last of Us game was so popular.
Yeah,
like
right.
Not
it came
even
out
the
a
show.
year after the show came out.
Yeah, so
it was like not even tied to the show. It just like rode that same wave. And now it's funny that like 10 years later, this show is now being compared to The Walking Dead, which I think
it was inevitable.
Yeah, look, I like and of course The Walking Dead comic is what started it all. But like the TV show was a behemoth in ratings,
and they still have The Walking Dead badges on New York Comic-Con. I swear to God, every year since I've been going, it's been The Walking Dead on the badges. So will we see Rick and Michonne on the badges next time? Who knows? But the thing that I love the most is the sequences in the show, and I'm not going to spoil anything, sequences in the first episode that are reading like you're actually playing the game.
Yes.
And
there's a lot of first person kind of
looking things, and it's so cool. So cool.
The driving sequence was incredible. So at one point you have to get in a car, not to give anything else away, but at some point you drive, as most humans do. And I just thought the setup of that actually felt both like a video game, but very cinematic, but also not cheap. Like there was a movie that was entirely shot in first person perspective, like a first person shooter game, and I remember thinking like, oh, what a cute gimmick, and that's all it was. This is just interesting cinematography.
You're involved. It's tense. You care. You feel for these people, and it's just like, oh man.
And it's not a first person perspective, by the way. Even in the car, it's still third person, but they do a lot of good work with the camera, and there are times when you're viewing,
but it makes you feel like you're sitting next to them.
Yes, it feels like you're the passenger in the car, as opposed to like viewing straight through their eyes or viewing from the outside. So it's not even, it would be like, what is that, second person perspective? Like it's not first, it's not third. Like I actually think that's the second person when you're the person standing next to the protagonist. Like that sounds right. Someone look that up for me. So oh my God, 117. It was 2 minutes, 10 minutes ago, Skip. See, this is what I mean. Football time doesn't work. Yeah. Football time doesn't work. It's all a hoax. But okay, so that was The Last of Us, which I thought was great. Do you want to give your pitch for Ant-Man? I know that you love this series. It's your favorite part of Marvel.
It's one of my favorite parts of Marvel. They're so funny. They're so fun. Just wanted to let you guys know that tickets dropped today. So go see it because Kang is coming. It's time for a new regime. He's the new big bad. Can't wait to see what he does and how he gets out of the quantum realm.
Yeah, he's gonna. Well, Jonathan Majors is gonna kick everyone's ass. Let's be clear. We all saw him on the cover of Muscle and Fitness, and I know that's for like Creed 2 or Creed 3 or whatever. Yeah. But like he's gonna destroy.
I didn't even know
Paul
he's
Rudd.
in that movie.
He's the, I guess, the villain, the other boxer, right?
He's sort of the Clubber Lang type character almost.
Yeah. Oh my God, he's so busy.
Yeah, he was at the gym. Is where he was
training with Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, which Michael B. Jordan's in incredible shape too. But like this guy, Jonathan Majors, looks like a professional bodybuilder.
34 seconds.
Yeah,
30 seconds.
So if that alone is an indication of like what Scott Lang and Michelle Pfeiffer are up against, we're in a lot of trouble.
Well, right? Michelle Pfeiffer knows exactly what she's dealing with, and she's warned him. This guy is not to be toyed with, and I don't know. You got Cassie, who doesn't know any better, making that little device that sucked them all into the quantum realm. So it's gonna be.
Oh my God! There's someone scored. We're never getting out of this game. This is what happens, right? Like we could have watched the episode. We could have, if we started the episode at the start of our episode, we would have been done.
Yeah.
No, it's fine.
We'll learn our lesson for the next.
It'll just be we're gonna like fly through the actual Rebels episode when we get there, but it'll be fine. I know that everyone is sort of just like waiting for this Mando thing.
And this is Sarah's favorite episode of Rebels, so
nice.
We have to do her justice with this.
Yeah.
So
Look, I think this is a great episode. It's one of those that I think gets overlooked. It's not on any of like the big best of lists or anything.
Yeah.
But it's such
but
it's
it's
such a great
so
connection to
important.
the Clone Wars and closure for Captain Rex and really good character development, especially between Rex and Kanan, who like in season 2 they bridged that gap. Like it took them a minute to like trust each other and all that, but like you really see it come together.
Because we all know how Kanan feels about clones.
Yeah, they killed Deppa. Like I mean,
and this is before Bad Batch, like obviously, and it was just so and he thought they were trying to kill him. So
of course, yeah,
poor kid.
It is interesting to see Rex fight alongside battle droids, which we just had clones against battle droids again in Bad Batch. So it is a little
yeah. Oh man, I cannot. We're gonna have some good TV this week. It makes me so excited. I'm going to be dead tired from working early at my job, but I'll do my best to watch.
Oh yeah, so what is happening? What else is going on in the pop culture? We've got the Ant-Man coming soon. Ant-Man and Wasp, Quantumania. We've got The Last of Us, which if you haven't watched, make sure you watch. And then, by the way, all of the big recappers have got comprehensive feedback videos. Like I saw Screen Crush, New Rock Stars, heavy spoilers, and then a bunch of the movie guys that we watch that just love the video game all started putting up their breakdowns, their Easter eggs, comparisons to the game, what's different, like all that stuff. Like, so if you're looking for like content to get you started, like if you feel like you need to do any pre-reading before the show and by the way, I don't think you do. I knew nothing going in, and I usually like to know stuff going in. Like I was able to just dive right in, and then I read the wiki a little bit about the video game, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. It's about fungus. Like that was kind of it. I was like, oh, the mushrooms make the zombies. Like done and done. So if that's all you know, I think that's more than enough to just like watch the show.
Yeah, I didn't even know that far into it. I knew about the Fireflies, and I knew about Ellie's friend Riley, and that was it.
Yep. I love the idea of fireflies, because like the quote in the show is something about like, if you're in the darkness, look for the light. And if you're a firefly, that's exactly what that would be. It would be like light sort of
when you're lost in the darkness, look for the light.
That's the quote, and that's what the fireflies are. So they're the rebels in the show. They're sort of, I would call them insurgents, although that term now, like you have to think, are you thinking Revolutionary War America, like rebelling against the colonies?
And it's in Boston, where the good chunk of it starts is in Boston. Sense. Yeah, so it's just like whoa.
But you don't want
the revolution starts in Boston. Like
we should call them revolutionaries, right? Because insurgents now are tied to like the January 6th stuff, and it's like it's the wrong word. Now we want to call them revolutionaries because
you missed a field goal. Sorry.
Wait, was it the extra point or was it the field goal?
It was the extra point.
Okay, because I saw a touchdown, so I'm like, okay.
Okay, so we got 27 seconds.
Oh, Lord help me.
Come on, Brady, run this clock out. Let's go.
Run it out. We got to watch our episode. We have a show to do, Tom Brady.
The clock is still running. 15 seconds. We're almost there, guys.
This is going to be one of those time capsule episodes where, people are like, oh, what was that one about? And it's like, oh, yeah, we watched this. And then it's like, oh, man, it was Mando season 3 night. The game is on. Brady. Like we're like in the news. This is not our show. Like this is not what we're usually about. We're not. We just joked last week that we are not live and in the moment about newsworthy things. Like that is not what we do. We're reviewing a show that.
Who are we?
Like 2018. Even Bad Batch, we're doing it 6 days later because the show airs on Wednesdays or 5 days later. So, Which by the way, I think Bad Batch has potential. Like season 2, like it's already shaping up to be better than season 1 in my mind, and the fact that they focused a lot on Crosshair in the last episode, I appreciated. So curious to see where that goes.
Yeah, it was nice to have him detached a little bit from our boys and just go from there. So it's going to be a crazy season.
Yeah.
If that's where they're going.
That we saw without Omega?
Yeah. So far.
I was going to say, because we didn't see any of the rest of the Bad Batch. Like Crosshair, technically.
It was just Crosshair.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't see anyone else. Hunter, Wrecker, Tech.
Yeah.
Yes, Sarah, let's talk Doctor Who. We just just another 11 and a half months before anything happens on Doctor Who. Oh my God, it's so 5 seconds, right? And then will the trailer play immediately? They're gonna go to like some pizza commercial and then a car commercial and then a beer commercial.
And we're gonna be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, stab the TV. But so in all seriousness, Doctor Who, we didn't talk about it during Christmas, but they played their trailer and they've revealed that David Tennant and Catherine Tate are coming back for some specials. And before we get to the new Doctor, which I'm so excited about, like I think it's a great time to jump in with David coming back, and Catherine Tate, who's my favorite. She's my favorite companion. So I want to do like a big Doctor Who rewatch. And in fact, I think that I know that's not part of this. But like I will be deep into Doctor Who recap videos and etc. Like the heavy spoilers and screen rants and screen crushes and or not screen rants, screen crush, and new rock stars of the world once we get to Doctor Who as well. Oh, Jason just texted me. He's like, the football game is on in the living room, so he has it on. He's gonna end up seeing it before I do because I'm gonna have to wait for it to like refresh on Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't know even know if they're going to put it up immediately anywhere.
I'm gonna cry if I can't watch it here. Like,
They better.
Run in the other room.
Yeah, we should Zoom. Rewatch Doctor. Yeah, I think that'd be fun. Doctor Who.
4. I threw it out of bounds. 4 seconds. See, this is the longest 6 seconds ever, you guys. Like football is like that.
Yeah, the ball's barely in play too. They did an analysis back when ESPN, I think it was actually ABC or whoever, was figuring out how they needed to create video packages about all the players and how do you like fill all the dead air because the ball's in play like 8 minets out of the entire game. The rest of the time is setting up for plays and watching the clock tick. Like
the clock is out. Halftime.
Finally.
Yeah. All right. And my cat
Skip,
just bit
thank
me.
you for being our official timekeeper over here.
Yeah. Skip is a man. And my cat just bit me because I was like, yeah, and she's just like, oh, there's a hand coming at me, and she just sunk her teeth into my wrist. You're crazy.
If this Mando trailer doesn't play.
Okay, yeah, we get it. Halftime, blah blah blah. Let's go.
Yeah.
Chop chop.
Meanwhile, Rihanna's doing the halftime show for the Super Bowl, which I'm very excited about.
Oh yeah.
There's some rumors that she might be debuting a new single. So for me, I'm gonna make sure that I'm at a very gay halftime Super Bowl party because where the halftime show
owl
matters
party.
more. Yeah, exactly.
The superb owl party.
Go to Hulu.
Because we can't say what it really is. We're not licensed by the NFL, so we gotta be like, it's the superb owl party. Oh my goodness.
Hulu.
Get off the field. We want our commercial.
I go to hulu.com. Will that get me there? I'm in Disney Plus. Let me go back out.
I got it ready to rock, so whenever we are all set. This better be an awesome trailer.
I know.
Yeah.
With that, I hope we get to see Bo-Katan. I'm sure they have to prominently feature her. Let's see some Darksaber. We already saw that like Grogu's flying with Mando in the poster. How can we watch it on Hulu, Jason? Is there a way to
I'm really excited. I really want to see Christopher Lloyd show up on there.
You sign in.
You're not on screen, you're fine. Where do I click in? I'm trying to figure out how to use my Hulu over here, guys.
Is this me?
I guess so. Yeah.
You can tell how often you've used it.
Yeah, I use Disney Plus over here. Paying attention to the stray arm.
It's okay.
Special technical assistant.
Super good.
There we go. Big money, big money.
No whammies.
Oh, there we go. Oh, I guess I can watch Hulu down here.
Yeah.
Oh, we can watch live. Look at this. It's the future.
Hey, bueno.
Yeah. Where has this been my whole life? And by my whole life, I mean now. Is this live?
Yeah.
Oh, great. All right, let me turn off the sound. There we go. Okay.
Just
all right, now
enough for them
Hulu
to
is
see-
playing live
Thank you,
on my
Jason.
television. Thank you, Jason. All right, so my husband, everyone.
Love him.
He also will not be at Celebration Europe, obviously, because I'm not going, but would probably be at New York Comic Con if anyone's for at least a day. If anyone's in town, you can get to meet him. Weirdly enough, it's actually my birthday tomorrow and his birthday Friday, so we have a busy week ahead of us of activity.
Yay.
Our birthdays are just 3 days apart, so
parties.
Yeah, thank you.
It's a trailer for the trailer.
Well,
coming up. All right, well, show us.
It's all red. Oh, I see Grogu. Oh, let's try spinning. Spinning is a good move.
Because that will go over well when he's eating his snacky snacks. You've done this before, you know. You know he's gonna be Vuki.
That blue puke.
My favorite was him holding up the cookies and then throwing up and still being really excited about things. So your son loves speed. So what's your predictions, guys? Tell us what you think's going to be in this trailer. Do you think we'll see it predominantly on Bo-Katan and the Mandalorians? Do you think we'll have it on Din and Grogu on a new mission? Do you think we'll see Christopher Lloyd? Don't forget, he's going to be on there.
I don't think they're going to show us him. I think we'll see Grief, who we know. We'll see Bo-Katan. Bo-Katan has some friends. I think we're going to see a lot of helmeted Mandalorians whose faces we can't see flying around. We've already seen a little bit of that in one of the prior trailers. Yeah. But we know that like Axe Woves is coming back. We know that there's some other like Mando, like the Armorer. I'm telling you though, if Armorer doesn't fight Bo-Katan and I don't get like the smackdown that I'm hoping for, I'm telling you, Sasha versus Bailey, that it's got to be that level of awesome. And if it's not, I'm going to scream.
So cool. Yeah. So cool.
Steven, we're watching live on Hulu.com for me anyway. The watch live on ESPN, the football game, and that will be the Mando season 3 trailer. Any minute now. I'll believe it when I see it at this point, because now I feel like it's going to happen during the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Oh man. I don't care about any of these commercials. Just give me my Mando trailer. Yeah. So
I know they have a captive audience, so they're gonna draw.
They really do.
They can.
Yeah.
Oh, trailer premiere! It's happening.
Oh my goodness.
Let's go.
I need an alternative of where to watch it.
Ooh.
I see it. I'm waiting for all the break. Oh wow, that's a good amount of them.
Oh.
Some cool looking helmets.
So cute.
That glass is not safe.
Damn, Grief is just looking expensive.
The town looks good.
Shh. Kelly. Yes.
No.
My boy Polly.
What's going on with those Jedi?
Oh my god.
Ooh, boy. When Babu Frick meets Grogu, the internet's gonna explode.
Oh my goodness.
He can. Girl. That was intense.
I love it.
That was great. All right, goodbye to football.
Yep, bye football. We're done.
Yeah.
Good luck, Brady.
I want to see their ratings. Like, just.
It was a great disturbance in their ratings.
For that.
Never underestimate the power of a bunch of Star Wars fans, you guys.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
great disturbance in their ratings, as if millions of
So we have Carson Teva back in the house. Yeah, it's
millions of nerds were like, forget this. That was
So those-
amazing. Let's hit play on the episode,
Yeah,
so
let's
we
do
can
this.
get rolling, and then we'll talk about the Mando trailer as we jump into the last battle. So
Okay.
everyone, cue up your Disney Plus,
Your Disney Plus.
Star Wars Rebels season 3, episode 6.
Episode 6.
Mhm.
Do you want to take us through the countdown?
Sure. So we'll start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
So while we're diving into this episode, which is very Clone Wars heavy, we'll talk a little bit about Mando season 3, and I'm sure it'll be put up on Twitter any minute now, and people can rewatch it as needed. I'm sure Star Wars Twitter has it. I'm actually checking to see. I thought it was great. Me as a licensee, I was like, oh, I like seeing all those helmets. I'll tell you that.
So many, and you see him like, I may be forgiven for my transgressions, and you just see him like standing there with all the Mandalorians.
It's on YouTube.
Yay.
Oh, it's up on YouTube. That's great.
Yeah, as of 2 minutes ago.
Sweet. So they threw it up immediately. Like, rude. We could have done that, but
So I was looking and it wasn't quite there, but yeah, it's now.
Gotta grab the emoji for like the hands up kind of thing,
Mhm.
and the praise. I thought that was so well done.
Ezra playing with the battle droid head.
Oh boy, Roger.
So it's weird. We go from like rooting against like I said, go from rooting against the battle droids to rooting for them.
Yep, it's that cognitive dissonance Star Wars will do to you every time. I mean, it's the entirety of the Clone Wars. Like, we shouldn't have been rooting for the Republic. But this is what who said it? It was like, did Cody realize that like Palpatine played both sides? Like, because once you realize the war was fully manufactured, it doesn't matter what side you were on. You were all against Palpatine. Like, that's really what it was. Like, the Republic and the Confederacy and everyone else not involved, it was all just a giant scam. It was almost like not a pyramid scheme, but like that type of long form, like a scam, and everyone got screwed over. Millions died. It's terrible.
Chopper, here's Roger.
It is nice to hear the droids again. And Matthew Wood, of course, is like unstoppable in that role.
Mm-hmm.
And the Ray Shield show up again. Haven't seen that since, Attack of the Clones.
I also think the character models, or the models for the battle droids being ported into like the Rebels look and feel, look really good. Like, they're close into the Clone Wars look and feel while still being part of like the Rebels aesthetic, but still highly believable. I like the paint jobs. They look nice and rusty and worn down. They did a really nice job like aging them. And they still think the war is going on.
Yeah, nobody told these guys that it was over.
Yeah, and they have that big tactical droid sort of leading the way. And I'm sure that if anyone pops up on this planet, they're in trouble.
The thing that I love about this whole episode is Chopper just kind of goes off on his own and becomes a savior.
Yeah, we've seen numerous instances of like R2-D2 and C-3PO like being brave, right? And like saving the rest of the crew. It's nice to see Chopper do it too.
But you have Rex showing that he has PTSD from the war, and just seeing all these droids just trigger him. As you can see, he's like, oh no, the war isn't over.
Yeah.
So.
And it should be. That's what's so crazy. This should be over. Like, we shouldn't be dealing with battle droids in this time period.
Not at all.
And yet here we are. And I'm sure this has to bring up every emotion for Kanan, right? Like, he has clear trauma from what happened to him at the start of the war. And then Ezra, on the other side of it, has never known a time before the Clone Wars. He's born on Unification Day. So the Clone Wars were over by the time he was born. So for him, it's something in history, right? Like, it's the way we would feel about like World War II or something, or more close in Vietnam, like something that like is part of the historical record, but we weren't really a part of. Oh my God, the Confederacy shall rise again. That is what this feels like with these guys. You lost. No, we didn't. Yeah, they don't know the war's over. Also, the galaxy's gigantic. They can't.
Yeah.
I would doubt that they're even like the final group or whatever. But this does give some nice closure to all things Clone Wars related. Even from here on out, like I don't think we see any more battle droids in the show, and certainly the through lines are more character driven than they are like sort of story driven, like the way they are here. Like this really connects back to like this is like a plot out of the Clone Wars.
And it's kind of creepy how this droid has gone through all these battles that they fought, and he's kind of devised a game to like pit them against each other.
Yeah, it's basically a war game thing.
It's so creepy.
I'm looking at the trailer again.
Ezra, no.
I have two screens. I have four screens open. I've got all you guys here, my phone to look at the comments, the Disney Plus, and then I've got the trailer playing in a box in box. This is ridiculous. This is the future that no one wanted. We all think we wanted it, and I promise you we didn't. Our brains are melted. We can't remember things anymore. We're overstimulated.
Right.
Like this is the problem, and we're actively contributing to it. But the Mando trailer looks so good. It looks so clean and expensive, and the characters look great, and the conflict looks really interesting, and the fact that he's actually flying the live action Mandalore, which I knew we were going to get, but like it's really happening, guys. Like
we're going to Mandalore. Like Dave is gonna.
Yeah.
Dave is totally gonna make sure we go to Mandalore in this. Yeah. Like this is everything Dave loves about the series. So.
Yeah, and it's going to be emotional, which is also why I think this episode of Rebels that we're watching works really well too. It's emotional. We see it especially through the eyes of Rex and Kanan. Kanan being a Jedi, the only emotion we usually see from him is like I would call disappointment when he's annoyed with Ezra misbehaving, and he sometimes gets angry about like the circumstances of things, like especially when it came to like joining the larger rebellion. He fought with Hera a little bit about that, but like this episode, he really feels there's like a sadness and like a little bit of fear. Like there's a little bit of everything like wrapped into like what the Clone Wars did to him, how it killed his master, dealing with Rex who's sitting right next to him, and Rex dealing with PTSD. Like survivor's guilt and PTSD. It's complicated.
But
like,
you've got Ezra also who's grown up during this, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll play your game." And they're like, "What are you doing? Like this ruined our entire lives up until this point." Game.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe they just kind of needed a fresh perspective on it. And of course, having Chopper lurking around definitely helps.
Him on the run. I do enjoy this little trio though. Governor Price at the top, cold and just, a tactician, right? She's great. She's actually very similar to Thrawn in that way. Callus, who we don't know it at this point. Through Imperial Eyes hasn't happened yet, but he's a traitor and a double agent. And then the idiot Cassius Constantine, who like messes up everything, who already messed up at the end of not yet. He'll mess up at the end of season 3 and really mess it up. That's quite the trio. Satine flashbacks would be amazing. Yeah. I would love to see a live action Satine because a couple things. Bo-Katan is super important. She's obviously going to be a huge part of season 3 of The Mandalorian. She probably has the bloodline right to the Darksaber more than anyone else if we're going to talk blood. And if we want to talk about like the heyday of Mandalore and the time period that we're the most familiar with, like translating that to live action would be really cool. And in fact, Anna Graves like doesn't look all that different from Duchess Satine. Pull her in for a live action thing, especially if it's like some flashback where she's just waving at the crowd. Like you don't need to make a whole story about it. We know what happens to her. You just need to see her.
Yeah,
you can even just have a model that kind of looks like her, right? Like I don't need to get like a giant story, but like I'd love to see Satine. Although I would have preferred that more in the Obi-Wan show. I think that's where it would have landed best if like Obi-Wan had to talk about all the things he's lost. Well, and then there's still the mystery of Corky Kryze, who I think will be the Mandalore. I'm putting my money down now. He's the one that no one else will ever pick from the lineup. So if I win, I win. I win big, right? Like it's gonna be Corky Kryze. So
like my name is Corky Kryze, and you hear Mark screaming.
I'll lose my mind. That's Bradley Cooper or Jude Law. that's about the right age and we'll say demographic, like light skin, light hair. He really should be like a true blonde, but you can dye hair. So yeah, I would love that. He's been on my list of like, would have been great to put him in Rebels. Same thing with like Barriss Offee. Where's Barriss Offee? Where's Corky Kryze? I got a couple people from the Clone Wars. See, the Clone Wars ain't over. We're watching it in this episode and we're going to get some closure, but it's not fully over. So is Spencer still tweeting or is it done? Like, I was gonna like.
Good question.
Yeah, I was gonna say like he can't possibly still care, right? Yeah. Well, yeah. Now that the trailers are out, oh my god, my entire Twitter feed is just the trailer.
That's amazing.
Everyone I know has reposted this trailer.
Droid Decca's.
Paul looks amazing. Paul Sun-Hyun.
Oh yes.
His uniform looks incredible.
I like that they gave him a new jacket. He's out of his flight suit. They kind of gave him a little more of an earthy role. And Carl Weathers, our boy Grief Karga, he looks expensive. Like he's like
he looks like Apollo Creed with all his bling.
For
like,
real.
He really
That's
does.
amazing.
It looks amazing. Yeah, good for Grief. I'm excited to see him in a position of power because I've always liked him as a person too. I just think Carl Weathers.
But that worries me because it's like absolute power corrupts absolutely. So what are we gonna do with Grief?
I don't know. He seems to be above board more than most other people. So I would like to think that he's going to stay there. I like Paul. I think Omid. Oh, by the way, do we think that's got to be Coruscant, right? Like that they're flying through in that.
No, that's Mandalore.
Scene? No,
that's got to be the nicer parts of Mandalore. Yeah,
I'm thinking no. But they're showing Paul and they're showing Omid, so I assume it's New Republic. My assumption is that if that's New Republic, we're back to Coruscant. So what does Coruscant look like in this time period?
Ooh, that'd be interesting.
Like, what do you guys think of the comments? Was that Coruscant? It wasn't Mandalore. Mandalore's destroyed, right? So it's got to be. When I see space travel or flying cars moving in sequence like that with little buildings sticking up, like it could be any city in any Star Wars.
It could be New Navarro. We don't know.
Yeah, right. It could literally be anywhere. But my assumption is the visual clues they're giving us that screamed immediately to me prequel era Coruscant, and we haven't been there yet in this series, and I think we may need to go there because the Rangers of the New Republic, like the capital of the New Republic, is actually not Coruscant, it's actually Chandrilla. So take us to Chandrilla. That would be great too.
We haven't been there yet.
Yeah.
I think Rex is forgetting some of the strategy. He's just charging into it, and they're just like, remember the plan, stick to the plan.
Yeah. I do think this is a good team building.
Generation 1 armor always holds up. Yeah.
It does. Yeah.
Love it.
Rex and Kanan have already beyond made amends. Like they did that at the beginning of season 2, and they slowly learned to trust each other, right? And of course, like if Ahsoka is a Jedi and trusts Rex, and Kanan can trust Ahsoka, there's sort of a transitive property there. But this episode is like the final glue of the two of them, that like Rex is willing to die for Kanan, Kanan's willing to die for Rex. Like they're both trying to get Ezra out of this. Like they realize that they're in a tough situation and they need each other. And I don't think we've gotten this much combination time of the two of them at any other point in season 2 for sure.
Now, Kanan just told Ezra he needs to finish the battle his way. And Ezra's like, just like that droid. They're both fighting for what they believe is right. And they're going to finish this their way. And Rex is taking this pretty hard.
Good combination, that push and fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very smart.
Oh, no.
I love the droidicus shuffle.
Yeah. It was really cool to see Crosshair and Cody take out some droid decas and
that was neat.
Totally creative about it.
Definitely.
Crosshair was on fire in that episode of The Bad Batch. Like his precision shooting, despite the fact that he was essentially like stranded for 30 days and obviously like during that time probably barely ate, certainly couldn't train. So is he that genetically gifted, almost like the Force, right? Where like you're just good at it regardless of training. He's just like literally programmed to not miss. Super Droid Shuffle. Oh my god, it could be Hosnian Prime, Sarah. I didn't think of that. Here's the thing. Where do we think it's going to be? I think it's based on the way they've lined that shot up. It could be Coruscant. It could also be Chandrilla, which is the capital of the New Republic, which I would assume Hosnian Prime is where the Senate actually is. So like the Senate is not where the capital is, which is a little bit confusing. So I think those are the top three choices. I like Hosnian Prime as a thing because we know it blows up in The Force Awakens, and they need to start planting those seeds of new trilogy. Oh my god, I forgot that Zeb was even in this episode. They kidnapped him so quickly.
They said that they had to win or they're going to kill him. So none of them won. And Ezra's absolutely right. The clones got decommissioned. The droids were shut down. The Jedi were killed. Who won the Clone Wars?
Girl, Palpatine. Palpatine won the Clone Wars.
And that's why Zeb's like, the Empire, because they're here.
Yeah. Oh shit, and here they are. Yeah, they've got shuttles coming.
Our girl Price.
I love her. I love her so much.
The Cate Blanchett of Star Wars.
Battle droids and stormtroopers. We're already getting stormtroopers and clone troopers mixed in during Bad Batch, which I really like. So I like stormtroopers sort of like almost proto or wave 1, and then clone troopers phase 2. And then of course we saw the battle droids.
I really like the design of the interim stormtroopers that they were showing between like the first conscripted stormtroopers versus the clones and the regular stormtroopers that you see later.
Ezra spitting some truth.
It's a neat idea, or neat execution. So funny enough, on the classic stormtrooper front, we have a pre-order going live tomorrow, and it's the classic stormtrooper helmet, based on a New Hope design. So like the very basic plastic, like classic OT stormtrooper. Nothing super special about it except that it's great for trooping and it's obviously screen accurate, but it's the kind of thing where I'm like, we've needed to have this in the lineup for a while and just haven't been able to get to it with all the other stuff. So that's tomorrow. And then the following week we're doing the Sand Trooper, which is like the Tatooine, weathering on top of that same structure.
Oh, that's gonna be rad.
Yeah. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, there's so many troopers. We were going through the list because once you get the mold for something like that, like I was like, oh, what else can I make from this thing? And there's like a bunch of other ones. And I was like, well, I don't know how many of them are actually relevant. And then we were looking at some of the concept things. And I was like, oh, could we do that in between trooper? It's a different mold. Like it's different structurally. And I was like, well, I don't know if that's worth investing in like a new mold on. And that's like the conversation that I have like every day, right? It's like, what are we doing with the business here, there, and everywhere? And what can we do? What should we do? What's coming? What do we not know about? Like out of nowhere, like Paul has a new uniform. That uniform's pretty cool. Like I haven't seen that. Like no one showed me that photography. So I'm gonna go find out what that looks like. And maybe
I was just talking to him over the last couple days because he did an Instagram live the other night because he was unboxing those little the little vehicle figures, like the Micro Machine kind of things that they've re-put out. And last night he was unboxing the Proton Pack, which I'm excited about. My Proton Pack will be arriving at Joe's apartment, which will be sent to me as soon as it arrives.
Is that Hasbro Pulse?
It was the HasLab. Yeah. So I'm really excited.
Yeah.
The thing is going to be huge. I'm really excited, but he unboxed it last night and I'm just like, oh, I cannot wait. So, but this is an interesting episode to watch, especially after that last Bad Batch episode, because you have the clones, the Jedi, and the droids all working together. Just like you have the droids working against the Empire. So it's kind of in the same vein. So this is really kind of clever lineup.
Yeah, I think there's so much potential for Bad Batch season 2 to tackle this weird in-between period where we're not quite in the age of Empire yet. Like the Empire's so new and the Clone Wars aren't really fully over yet. And everyone's trying to figure out like this new governor, right? Like that would be a legitimate, like in the real world, we would have a legitimate crisis of government, right? Like if you lose a war, who's your new leader? Like what happens there? Like think about when the Soviet Union fell and all those new countries became new countries. and they had to get like new leadership and like elect people into power. I mean, this happens all around the world basically every day. It's like sometimes it hits the news and sometimes it doesn't. But like imagine this at a galactic wide level. Your currency is updating. We remember how long it went on to go from the pound to the euro, or who was getting on the euro, and like what local currencies were going to have a problem with it. Like now everyone's going to the galactic credit, right? So you're getting all new currency turned over. All your vehicles need to conform. All your signage needs to go to Imperial from Republic, which that alone, imagine infrastructure costs just to change things that are decorative, right? So like any banners, labeling, whatever, all needs to just turn over to the new name of the country, basically. Like you need a new flag and all that stuff needs to be replaced. And you know they're going to spend money on that for propaganda as opposed to money to help people. Because the Republic was criticized for like letting people starve and not being able to provide for its citizens. The government of the empire doesn't do it any better. They just will lock you up. So then you're not actually counting people as homeless at that point, right? It's like, oh no, we don't have homeless people, we have prisoners. So it's a real comment on like America and the world itself as well. I hope people can like do their media literacy and understand that. I don't know how much they'll get into that in the Bad Batch, but like that's some interesting stuff. I think we could really mine that for some good stories.
So they won the Clone Wars.
I always love Ezra saying Roger Roger. It's very cute. Yeah. I say it all the time in emails, by the way. If you get an email from me that says Roger Roger, like I will definitely use that. I actually said it once accidentally to Viacom because, like, you know, when you're in Star Wars mode, I was like, instead of Roger that, I wrote Roger Roger. And the guy knew what it was. It was like, oh, you're a Star Wars fan? I was like, oh yeah, it's like my other big business here. Oh my God, Steven, credit bros. Oh my God, that would be an amazing, like, what is it, like tweet like you're really in Star Wars? That would be a whole thing.
Tell Sabine she's gonna need a new paint job.
Yeah.
Love it.
Meanwhile, the ladies were barely in this episode, but that happens. Like where, oh, let's write the logo. I even wrote it in the show notes. The logo
is yellow.
The Clone Wars yellow and everything. Oh, fantastic. I remember when this aired, I was like screaming. It was awesome. That's such a great episode.
So my friend just sent me a tweet by this guy called Lacking Saint. The Last of Us seems like a pretty faithful adaptation to the original game, but I think it was cowardly to leave out the scene where Joel gets killed 18 times in the first clicker room and considers getting a refund.
Yes, that's right on. That's me if I ever play that game. But I've also said many times on this channel, I'm not a gamer.
No,
but I love video
games.
I'm
an old school gamer, but
yeah.
I just watch the cutscenes and the new stuff.
That's what I'm interested in is like what's coming out. The Jedi Survivor game.
Yeah.
And then there's something else that's coming that I'm blanking on. Oh, see, someone else just Star Wars Holocron said that this is Coruscant.
Oh, really?
We don't know. I mean, the still frame of these buildings. I think it's Coruscant, but it could be anywhere. Yeah. Dr. Omid, or not Dr. Pershing, played by Omid, is flying around there. And I look, Coruscant, Chandrilla, Hosnian Prime, or any other planet, whatever it is, it's going to be interesting. And they're showing it to us for a reason. Mm-hmm. I'm curious to see what's happening because like the only location we really care about at the moment is Mandalore. So like what else is going on that we need to know about? I think the big mystery of season 3, aside from like Mando's mission to actually get to Mandalore and baptize himself and fix all that essentially, and then figure out who will rule Mandalore. What are the implications across the rest of the galaxy? Does anyone else give a shit who's in charge of Mandalore? Like, we don't care who the president of like most other countries are for the most part. We care about who's in like the G8 and to a lesser extent the G20. But if you're the president of some country that is not part of that, America does not care. So does the New Republic, hi Ahsoka, care about who is the president of, or who's the ruler of Mandalore? Like, do they care? And if they do, why and to what end? Like, how does it connect to Thrawn? How does it connect to Ahsoka? You can
kind of see it on the outside of things where it's like, oh yeah, those Mandalorians, they just fought a civil war. Like they're kind of like the laughing stock of the galaxy right now.
Yeah, they're in a nadir point for sure. Yeah.
So
they already lost to the Empire, and then they fought amongst themselves.
So now it's like a matter of pride for them, I guess. It's just okay. Again, you have the cult, the Mandalorian cult, and you have the royal family and their followers. So it's again, does the Civil War continue on different planets? What are we gonna see? I'm excited.
Yeah, I am too. I really there's Mando season 3. I'm so excited about. I'm just it's slightly under Ahsoka for me, because Ahsoka really is going to be Rebels Part 2, but I think such great things are coming.
Really excited.
I hope everyone immediately after our show is over watches the Mando trailer 6 more times, and then waits for like everyone's reactions to it. It's my entire Twitter feed. I hit refresh.
One time, I haven't watched it yet. I don't want to watch it without the sound, so I didn't want to try to watch it.
I turned the sound up, so I was just like, okay, I really hope they can't hear me, but I need to hear this.
Like I said, though, this is too many screens for human consumption. I'm railing against what we have become.
Once again, it's a really good time to be a Star Wars fan. There's so much good stuff happening, and it's good stuff. It's really really good stuff. So I'm gonna have to grill Polly and be like, "You're in the trailer! Oh my god!" So it'll be interesting to see if he's sharing it right now, because I don't think he knew.
That's the thing. I gotta tell you, as a licensee, like, and I say all the time that I'm either not in the know or I'm not allowed to talk about stuff. More likely, I'm just not in the know. So if I don't know about it, I can't talk about it, which is an easy thing to be like, only for people who like desperately need to know. I knew this trailer was coming out the same time the rest of the public found out that this trailer was coming out, and I didn't know what the content would be. And so I didn't really have like a marketing beat around it because there's no need to, right? Like, you see what's happening. Everyone's just sharing the trailer. I will have Mandalorian news when the show drops on March 1st. There will be stuff happening, but there's nothing happening today for the business. But like, I'm glad that we got to be live on air. This was a real moment for us. Like, which, funny enough, now that we're the news correspondents, and I was trying to figure out who we were going to be, because we're not like Regis and Kathy Lee. Like, that's like morning talk. Like, and it's not like David Muir and Barbara Walters over here either. We're not that serious. Like, it's less than that. So I'm trying to figure out who our news equivalents are. But we will be leading the news desk.
We're Andy and Anthony.
Oh my god, I love that. Oh my god, by the way, I'm obsessed with both of them.
Me too. I miss them so much.
We're the new Andy and Anthony. So I think that's how we need to introduce ourselves when we do our intergalactic news desks with Jeff and Dave. Which are going to be starting up in a couple weeks. I want to say toward the end of this month, we'll have our first one, and we'll be going as needed as news drops. Once there's news, I do have a Stephen Colbert kind of energy.
Love him.
Yeah. I think as news starts coming out, like, this would be a good example of like a news desk drop tomorrow would make sense because the trailer just came out. Who's featured in it? Like, when do we expect to see the show? Like, what's the supposed overall plot, how many episodes, like, all that information is like mostly readily available. So we could do a whole discussion on that, and maybe that'll be the topic of happy hour tomorrow, I would have to assume.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be exciting. I will do my best. Actually, no, it's gonna be hard not to look anything up. Like, I've been doing really well. I'm like, okay, don't look up how many episodes there are. Don't look up like titles, nothing.
Oh, I like knowing that stuff. It's the
I
do
meat
of the
once it's out there, but I'm like, I don't want anything to get ruined, and I'm just.
I don't want
really
any
concerned.
of the plot details of the individual episodes, but I do want to know when they're coming out and like how to plan around it. I think the finale is actually right around Celebration. What is it? It's only 8 episodes, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not 10 this time. Wow.
And they're not doing a double
did
premiere.
10 before, I don't think.
Oh, okay.
Season 1 and 2 were both 8.
All right. Why am I thinking 10? I don't
10
know.
was something else was 10. I think She-Hulk or something was 10.
Yeah.
I can't keep track. Yeah.
Same channel.
They stick to 8 and 16 mostly, and maybe 12. 8, 12, and 16 are it seem to be the Star Wars kind of episode.
That is true.
Like, although Boba Fett was 7.
Thanks for joining,
Steve. Sorry.
Bye, Steve.
The Book of Boba Fett was 7 episodes for whatever reason.
Because it should have been 5.
I mean, not wrong.
Should have been. I actually think it should have been a movie. Like, that's so it's funny to see now what shows I think were going to be movies that got turned into shows. Obi-Wan, Boba Fett. They were going to be a Star Wars story. Obi-Wan, a Star Wars story. Boba Fett, a Star Wars story. And then what TV shows should have been movies. And I think like there's a little bit of that push and pull. Like I almost think that's what everyone was struggling with when streaming happened. And it's like, what's our idea? And then like things were not started in the medium in which they finished, if that makes sense. And that's why you're getting these sort of uneven type of experiences. I think Boba Fett tried to add more stuff to it to extend it to be a TV show when it really just could have been like a Boba Fett movie. Like I think that's like how it was starting. Even Obi-Wan was like there's a reason that like there's so many supporting characters in Obi-Wan and so many stories that are almost like tangential to the main conflict of Obi-Wan versus Vader, because they needed to turn it into a TV show. And it's almost why it's the little Leia show. But like I'm not mad about the little Leia show, by the way. She was great and everything about it. It's kind of not the Obi-Wan Kenobi show in some cases. Cassian Andor was meant to be a TV show and ran full, and you could see that this was planned out like this was the medium in which it was attended. It was shot on location. It was multi-episodic. The episodes all built. Like it was intentional, and why some people called it a slow burn as well. I think that it was well crafted. And I think it's something I'm actually on the look for a lot when I'm watching something. I was like, oh, is this on streaming as an exclusive because they thought it was going to fail in a theater? And there's been some of that. And then there are other things where it's like, oh, did this end up here instead of somewhere else for some other reason? Like there are all these things, and it's like, and why is this happening now? It's like, oh, it's translated, it's international content, and I'm sure it's cheap and they dropped it, right? And then other things just blow up out of nowhere, and then you have to react to it. Like I thought Wednesday was incredible, and now they're struggling to figure out like, what do you do in season 2? Like I don't think
still haven't gotten past the first episode. I'm sorry.
No, totally fair. Look, there's too much content. That's my
I know, and I still haven't watched Glass Onion yet, but I managed to squeak in The Last of Us because I knew someone would ruin it for me because it was getting just too much positive buzz.
Too much. Yeah. You can't avoid this one. Last of Us right now is going to be what WandaVision was 2 years ago, where everyone's talking about it. I think this is appointment television. And I think if it keeps up this quality, it will maintain the breakdowns and the discussion and remain in the pop culture, right? Like good thing to say in the pop culture. Avatar: The Way of Water has made $2 billion at the global box office, and there is nothing about it on Twitter or YouTube or anything. And by the way, I know those are echo chambers, but in the pop culture, in my mind, means it's part of the discussion. Like Avatar's not trending on Twitter. It's making a ton of money and everyone's going to see it and everyone loves it. They enjoy it and then they put it away.
Have you watched it?
No, I haven't gone yet. I'm trying to figure out when to go.
Oh, good.
But it's the kind of thing where I'm like, I'm kind of not that into it. Like, frankly, like I'm like, I'll go see it, but like, I don't care enough. But Last of Us, I will watch the show, the wraparound, the next wraparound, speculation videos. You know, I will now go into the rabbit hole and become like more of a fan. And that's hard to dissect, like, you know, how you get more obsessed with something versus how you just like purchase it and then you're done with it. Like, even though there's more money made in this one area, like Avatar, but like I will now go into the surrounding content of The Last of Us, and maybe when the next video game comes out, I will buy the game. Like it's all harder.
That's
to
like
quantify.
me in the Sandman series. Yeah. Like I dredged up all my single issue comics. I dug into the Neil Gaiman lore. I rebought graphic novels that I haven't touched in years, and it's just like it's cool to kind of see it again after watching it and just kind of absorb everything and get all that wraparound content and it so
we love wraparound content over here.
We do.
It's what we specialize in. So we're part of it now.
So speaking of wraparound content, the VCN has major stuff going on this week. We have the delightful Chris Bartlett joining the boys on Thursday night. So make sure you watch The Mandalorian with Chris and the boys.
He's great.
Love Chris Bartlett. Absolutely.
I'll have to share my photo with him in the comments.
Definitely. What we got going on tomorrow night is happy hour. So they're going to discuss the Bad Batch season 2.
The good episode.
2. The good episode. So there'll be a lot of discussion.
Crosshair fired. So which I will say I loved this episode. And I'm excited to see if it continues this way. And I'm sure we'll talk about I'm sure we'll talk about the Mando season. By the way, I won't be on happy hour tomorrow because it is my birthday, so I've got dinner plans out. But everyone enjoy. Everyone have a slice of cake for me.
I will once I get out of
Mando.
my self-defense class because my sister is bringing me to
that's
a self-defense class.
So yeah. And then Mando season 3 trailer, I'm sure you guys will talk about.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and then
probably watch it before we watch the Bad Batch or something.
Yeah, that'd be exciting. So make sure you join the boys and get on Zoom and chat, have some drinks.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be a good time.
Some new participants, which is nice. Peter from Australia popped in the other day or last week, and you know,
for him it was breakfast. Like that's that time difference is like what, 13 hours or something?
Yeah, 12 hours. Yeah,
midday or something for him. Yeah,
my arm disappears when I do. There we go. Yeah, I made it out of the Clone Wars, but not all in one piece.
You're Bucky Barnes now.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I went there, guys.
Well, I think that's it for tonight, right?
On for
oh yeah, do we have a Sunday thing?
Yeah, I don't remember. The guys
they're not here
in the chat.
You'll find out on Thursday. We do
make sure you know.
We do this every week. Oh my god, this has been our running joke of like, what's happening on Sunday? We never bother to check ahead of time, guys. So we do so much research on the episode, and then it's like, oh right, the VCN also has stuff running. But this,
but we care. We really care.
This was so much fun, such a moment in time. I love live TV. I
know
love live TV, especially award shows and shit like that. So to be like on air when something was happening was actually like quite fun. We should try to do this for other newsworthy things, and we'll plan an episode around it. Like, in a perfect world, we would have done like a Mando related listicle that's in Rebels,
but it wasn't announced that it was going to drop until yesterday.
Of course.
So
find out this in like a
24 hours.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think everything tied in perfectly. We got the new Mando trailer, which, you know, obviously is the Mandalorian Wars. You got the last battle, which ties into everything that we've seen in the Bad Batch season 2, episode 2.
This was serendipitous.
It's just been so perfect. So we really appreciate you guys joining in and bearing with us and watching football with us.
That was really fun, you guys.
So where else can you get Star Wars and football at the same time, whether you want it or not?
And next week, we're going to continue our watch-alongs. No football next week, or at least not on our channel. Imperial Super Commandos, which is season 3, episode 7. So we're going in order. And then we have one more watch-along from season 3 that's in sequence, which is Iron Squadron on Monday, January 30th. Then come February, we are officially in the March to Mando season 3 on our show. It's already happening on Thursdays. That's what they're doing in the Thursday rewatches with Mando's season 2 and Book of Boba Fett and everything else. They are getting ready for season 3. We will kick into our mini watch along, which is 4 weeks long, getting ready for March to Mandalorian season 3, starting February 6th. With the Trials of the Darksaber, and then we do Legacy of Mandalore, and then we do Heroes of Mandalore, and then we've got our prediction show the week before, so or 2 days before. So we've got. It's going to
be a good February. Yeah,
these are great episodes for Rebels, and then also a lot of Mando adjacent content coming in February, which will be really, really fun. And then Mando will be on the air while we're back to our regular stuff. So that'll just make for great like discussion within the episodes. So.
Oh, absolutely. I love that. That's why I love that Dave keeps it so close with the Mandalorians and having Sabine in with this. So who knows? Maybe she'll show up, or at least one of the Wrens will show up.
Well, she's on my short list. Tristan. The mom could still be alive.
Ursa,
she'd be a little older. Ursa. The dad's not going to show up, but like as we think about who could be the Mandalorian, I think we do need to do this with our. We do need to have everyone vote and be like, who do you think is going to win? Who's going to win the game of Mandalore Throne? Like. Bo-Katan, Sabine, Grogu, Din, Corky Kryze, like the Armorer, Paz Vizsla.
Yeah, we saw him in that trailer.
Yeah, Grief Karga. Like there's any number of people who could really like take it. So who could it be? I really want to see everyone's predictions. Luke Skywalker, like it could honestly, Ahsoka, like anyone could come back, but I do think it'll be an actual Mandalorian. And Sabine is like kind of likely. Like I think she's in the top 5 easily.
Yeah, easy.
So, yeah, I would love that because I also think she wouldn't have a problem. Like Bo-Katan will not fight Din. She just won't. Sabine will. Sabine will fight Din, and I think that she has a chance of winning because I also think Sabine has aged correctly, in a way that like she's confident and powerful. And if she does have a little bit of the force, like we've suspected, like I think she could take down Din. Din's a hard man to beat in a fight, but I think that like she could do it, even if she doesn't have the
was
force.
trained by a Jedi.
Yeah, exactly. She knows how to use the dark saber. She's like, that should be mine. Like, I'm actually from a house. She's House Wren. Like, if you're gonna get behind a house, it's not House Kryze, it's House Wren. Like her and Tristan and Ursa, like money's over. I don't want it to be Tristan because it would be like, why'd we pick the brother, not her? But like, if for some reason Sabine were unable to fulfill her duties, like maybe Tristan can like fill in as like a, you know, a placeholder. Yeah, there you go.
to go there. Yeah. I went there. Yeah.
Also, yes, fair. Also, Corky Kryze coming in hot out of nowhere. Like Black Horse for sure.
He's calling it. He's calling it now, you guys.
Oh my god, I say Black Horse, Dark Horse. That's a Drag Race thing. So there's a contestant from Drag Race from years ago who referred to a dark horse as a black horse. Yes. And it became a running joke for the longest time. And I'll say it in jest. And then you know what happens? It's say it for your real.
Lexicon.
Yes, yeah. And I say black horse instead of dark horse. So yeah, there we go.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. All right. Well, he's definitely the black horse in this race. So. All right. On that note, it's 10:30. Thank you, everyone, for watching football with us.
Thank you. We really appreciate you guys. Thank you for joining in the chats. We love you guys. We will see you next week. So may the force be with you.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Somehow Corky Kryze returned.
Yes. I'll die. I'll just die on screen. It'll be great.